Okay, cool. So I think we're officially starting.
Sweet.
All right. Okay,
Let's do
so
it.
you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So your name,
My name is Tom.
Tom.
Yes.
Your occupation,
In terms of my job,
anything. Like, what are you right now? Like,
right now I'm a student,
uh-huh.
and I'd like to say I'm a musician.
Yeah. All right. And
Yeah.
your favorite color.
My favorite color is probably green.
Yeah. So you're a green musician.
I'm a green student musician.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna have 5 questions for today. Some are gonna be personalized to you, and there's some are gonna be personalized around the world. So,
Sounds good.
question 1. What is the reason that got you interested in music? And do you think a person should attempt to learn a musical instrument in their lifetime?
Well, I'll answer the second part first.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I think anyone can play music, and anyone should play music. And anything can be an instrument, including the voice, which everyone has. So, why not use that? What got me into music? Well, I come from a musical family, so when I was a wee lad, I started taking like preschool music lessons. And then I took piano lessons. I never practiced. But I still, even though I never practiced, I still love playing, and I would tend not to play what I was supposed to play, but instead play things that I was hearing, things that I wanted to play, or make up my own music. And then when I got to pick an instrument in 3rd grade, I chose the trombone, which didn't last very long, because I quickly found out about the string family.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with the cello. I played that into middle school, when I then found the bass.
Yes.
So it took a little while. It took some fumbling around on other instruments, but I eventually found my main man, the bass guitar. And I guess the rest is pretty much history. From there, I just continued to fall more and more in love with music every day, and found some awesome musicians along the way that I listen to, that I play with.
Yeah. Any prominent ones are like stuck in your head all the time? You're like, oh, I gotta listen to this today, or you're more like, oh, I'm gonna add this song to like my playlist. Like, what would you recommend?
Recently, number 1 is Jacob Collier.
Oh yeah, he's phenomenal.
Crazy madman of a musician. Multi-instrumentalist. If there was a prefix that was more than multi, like if something that meant all instruments, then that would apply to him. Yeah, so he's the biggest, one of my biggest inspirations. Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been a big fan of a musician from West Africa named Umu Sangare.
I don't know them.
And her music is awesome. It's a lot of it's in French, and then some African dialects, but some really cool rhythms that caught me off guard at first, because they're wonky. Like they're not as ingrained in our brains. They're a little more naturally flowing than like the rock beats and stuff like that.
And what about that one band? I see you wearing that hat that has like that letter L.
Yes. They'll always be up there. Lawrence the band, brother sister duo. I think siblings who sing together stay together.
Yeah. And I want to say something. Like, I always feel like for you, every time I think about music, I immediately think about you.
Okay.
And I always I remember seeing you all the time in high school, even just practicing, or even if you send me a video, or even if you post a video on your story, or even on your musician Instagram page. It's literally it just it blows my mind. And sometimes I think about you, how I feel like you personally, you have amazing hearing pitch. Is that the right thing?
Yeah,
when you hear something, you're all right, give me a few seconds, and then you can totally match up whatever you're hearing and just mirror it over to whatever instrument you're playing.
relative pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely not perfect pitch, but relative pitch, and that's just from years of practice.
Yeah.
Just
I feel like
nothing. It's
out of
nothing.
all my, oh yeah, sorry, keep going.
Nothing. Like nothing that is impossible for anyone to learn. It's just
I feel like out of all my friends that I ever interacted, or even like anybody I interacted, I always put you at the top. Like I feel like you know like a lot about music. Like everyone I ever interacted with, like you're definitely at the top for me.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm serious. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add?
About music?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could talk about music forever.
Oh yeah, that's fine. We have all the time in the world right now.
It's what I'm studying, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I'm studying music education, and while I'm not exactly sure what I want to do when I graduate, I think no matter what I end up doing, sharing music will be a part of it. So yeah, I'm happy with where I am. Happy that I'm studying music education, that I have the privilege to do that. And
I can definitely see you like on the weekends or during the weekdays. You're like instructing people, giving them lessons or stuff like that, or doing whatever you want to do. And like on the weekends, like you have like gigs to play.
Yeah, that would be the dream.
Yeah, and then like, dude, like the best of both worlds, and then you're just doing what you love, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything else that's on your mind that's tinkering about the topic?
About music? I guess. Well, I just finished working on a small EP.
Ooh.
That came about thanks to quarantine in a way, because I suddenly had all this time to work on stuff, and it's definitely different than what I'm used to making. There's a bird.
Yeah, I like it. It's just listening to us.
Yeah, different than what I'm used to making, but I had fun making it. It comes out on July 31st.
All right.
Yeah. He's excited about it.
Yeah. He's gonna tell all of his friends about the EP.
Yes.
And later, I think it was something else I was gonna add. I guess like with everything else going on, this is just like a question to backpack off the topic. Do you feel like the sense of like music in like college classrooms or like even like in education right now, do you feel like it would be like affected by like the whole crisis going on right now? Like saying like, I know like for me, I was talking to Kim Rosenbaum, and she was telling me about like her viewpoints about like how students aren't, there's gonna be some limitations to like students who are using like brass instruments or like woodwind instruments, like when you're using like a mouthpiece or whatever you're blowing into. And later, I guess like the sense of like airflow being emitted from the instrument is going to affect like the outcome and like probably like hopefully not spread. Like
yeah, I haven't heard anything too recently, but originally I heard that wind ensembles and choirs wouldn't be able to meet, at least under normal circumstances, for like up to 2 years. And I'm sure they'll find like ways to work around that. And because both of those things involve like spewing your saliva into the world.
Yeah, I'm like
one way or another.
Yeah, and I guess like I know she was saying to me that she said the flute, because it's such like a narrow pipeway, that instrument has like the most, I guess like strength to like send out like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm trying to like put the words together.
Like
so apparently,
the biggest,
say if you
blast radius.
Yeah. Exactly. Essentially,
Yeah.
a bigger blast radius than like all the other instruments.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It does. I know
that
the
either.
flute requires the most air to play it, so it doesn't surprise me that.
Yeah, she was telling. I was like, that. Wow. Okay. Is there anything else you want to share? Like anything?
I think that's about it. Yeah.
Cool.
About it for now. As much as I can continue to talk about it.
And now, I guess we're going to question 2, because you were just talking about like what you have been doing during this crisis. So that's going to be question 2. So, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy during this time of crisis?
Yes.
Avatar.
Number one, watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
That kept me busy for a while, in a good way. And then making music.
Yeah.
To talk more about music. I think one of the, as sad and as frustrating as this all is,
Mm-hmm.
there are some good things that have come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is, I think every popular musician has sort of established an even stronger like community and bond with their fans.
Yeah.
Through live streams and Q&As and Instagram lives and things like that. So I've loved watching musicians perform on Instagram Live.
Yeah, online concerts for them,
Yeah.
for the fans.
And I know to talk about Jacob Collier, who I could also talk about forever.
Yeah.
He just released a song recently called All I Need, and it features an artist named Mahalia,
Mm-hmm.
and she recorded her part from her home and sent him the audio files, and now it's out there on streaming services. So I think it didn't necessarily hurt the way that music is made,
Mm-hmm.
but it definitely changed it, and I'm sure that there will be good things that come out of it, as hard as it is to collaborate, especially. But yeah.
Do you feel like it's been like kind of like, would you say like a blessing in disguise, with like all this like free time on your hand, or it was kind of like, nah?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a silver lining.
Yeah. I think so too.
And not only to make music, but to like listen to things that I wouldn't normally listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Learn more about music.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of people saying this. Like, many people felt the need to, that they suddenly had all this time, and felt the need to be productive with it. To create as much as they could. But I think it's important to know that you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have a day where you just sit around and watch Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, correct. I felt like when it started happening, like in the beginning, I feel like Instagram was, or like even like social media was like, there was like a big push towards like, hey, like if you're not used to this time effectively to like focus on your goals, achieve your fitness dreams, or just like do whatever you want to do, then you're wasting time. Like, you're not disciplined. But then people of that discussion were saying that like, well, we're going through like a whole mentally draining and essentially like devastating time, like this whole pandemic. So I'm like, I definitely understand like both sides and everything like that, but I'm like, people are who they are, like like they just do things that make them comfortable. If they feel safe, then sure, they'll do it. But if they want to focus more on their family, yeah, sure, they'll do it. Like, I felt like even so, like this time right now, it's been like a time of like introspection, to like focusing on like, what do you want right now, and like how do you feel about this situation, like, and making sure that your priorities are in check. Like, is your family okay? Are you doing things that you really want to do? And with all this free time, like, what are some things that are important to you? I know for me, like, obviously I was like, all right, I have a lot of free time, and I was like, one thing I want to do was just like obviously like pursue more fitness goals. So I was like, obviously just been like running a lot more, and like I was like, all right, what else can I do? Can it be like just playing guitar, like picking up like a couple days? Yeah, that's great. Making videos, playing video games, just like focusing on things that I really liked. And I started to realize that like there's some things I always did in school that I'm like, I feel like I was forced to do it, and I just didn't enjoy it. So that just made me realize like, hey, life is like really short. So I feel like I just want to do things that really make me happy in that moment.
Yeah. You don't have to be going 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, just slow down. Like, it's okay to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You ready for question 3?
I'm ready for question 3.
All right. So, question 3. What was the moment in your life that really shaped you for who you are, or like moments, whatever you
Yeah.
feel like.
I think obviously I'm going to keep coming back to music a lot, but
No, that's fine. That's like your solid foundation. Like every time I think about you, like, I just associated like with music, like no matter what.
there in high school, I was I wasn't involved in music really until I had band as my third elective option,
Woohoo!
and the first two filled up. So I suddenly was in band, even though it wasn't my first choice, and I wasn't sure. I almost wanted to choose something else because I really wasn't sure if I wanted to commit to that. But I think it was definitely a good decision to not look for something else, because that's where if I wasn't placed in band, I don't know where I would have ended up. So yeah, being placed in band and deciding to stay in band is one big moment. There are some others. A couple summers ago, I decided that I wanted to kind of leave my comfort zone
Cool.
and start releasing music.
Yeah.
Even if no one would be listening to it, I thought it would be cool, just as a personal goal, to put my voice out there and.
A sense of like enlarging your digital footprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I worked all summer on a piece of music that I released, and I learned I almost took it down after
Really?
releasing it, because it
Was
was just a scary thing to put something like that out there. That it was such an unfamiliar feeling, but I'm really happy I did, because I think from that point forward, it made me realize that like you're going every decision you make is there's a little bit of you in it.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to be ashamed of anything that you feel like you should be doing.
Yeah. I feel
if
like
that's yelling on a football field,
yeah, right.
That's
Just a bunch of high schoolers and people biking. What I was gonna say is that like I feel like sharing things, like whatever it is, like whether it's like videos or music, it's all just falls under like the theme of like art. Like people love art, people appreciate it like no matter what, and like even like listen, I think it's so cool whenever I see you or someone I know, or even just like a music artist I see, whenever they release something new and it's like I know that means a lot to them, and like they put a lot of work into it and they want to share with everybody, and like a sense of like sharing is just kind of like building a relationship between you and your fans and everything like that. And obviously like, and also it creates like a good support system, like say like, hey, like I really like, oh sorry, I'm just like distracted by those people. I'm like, where are they going? I'm saying like every time like I see you publishing things, I think it's like super cool, because like A, I know it's you, B, I know it's you like accessing like your creative side, and C, it's like also building experience for yourself. Like, hey, like I'm working on this project right now, like I'm finished with it. Maybe there's like some minor things I maybe could improve on, or like maybe it was a solid project and you would just carry it on to like another thing like that, and like it's just kind of like, it's just like building like a sense of like I guess like, I don't want to say experience again, but like a synonym to experience, like like you're coloring more pages in your book essentially.
And you just mentioned this, but I'm never totally happy with anything I make, and I think that's one of the greatest things about making music, is that if you put your all into it, then you're never going to be totally satisfied with it, and that's a big part of what drives me to keep making more things.
Yeah.
When I'm working on like the music that is coming out soon,
Yeah.
is mostly instrumental. It's very acoustic, and while working on that, I was like learning a lot about sound design, and those are things that I'll be able to apply later.
Yeah.
Regardless of what genre I'm making. So yeah, it all builds on itself.
I just want to share, I guess like my personal thought, because I'm like here with you right now, about like that one question we just said, like what are some moments that like definitely shaped for like who I am. And I feel like, I guess like I would say like I have like moments, but like moments for me, I guess like when I started getting to know you like a lot more as a person, like senior year, where you kept exposing me to like stuff like Casey Neistat and like Good Mythical Morning and like the Vlogbrothers, and like I enjoy watching that stuff, but like it's like super cool. And like your sense of like creativity and drive and your genuine behavior towards like anything you always interact, because like you always come in with like a positive outlet. I'm not sure if you know that, but I want to let you know that I'm acknowledging it, and I want you to acknowledge it too, because like you have like this like magnificent aura around you, like super like, and like for you, like every time I interact with you, like I always feel like I'm in a good mood, like every time like you're around, and stuff like that. When you always show me things like, hey, like, oh, like this and that, or this and that, and like especially like I just feel like I feel like if I never met you and like you never showed me anything about like Casey and I feel like I would never be like the person I am today, just like doing things, like being like super ambitious about like everything.
Wow.
I just want to let you know that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, actually. Thank you.
All right, yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like that was like, I think about that a lot. I'm like, I feel like I wouldn't really
You have a bug on your elbow.
Oh, I feel like I wouldn't really just do things I really like doing if you never show me those things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all things. All three of those things that you mentioned are things that just make me happy. So
Yeah.
and there are people who share things in order to make other people happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the most important things people can do.
Yeah. That's what I think so too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like smiling too much inside. Sorry. Okay.
I wasn't prepared for all the compliments.
Oh yeah, no, I was telling that to Julia last time we were making the video, because like a sense of like over flattery, like for me, whenever I get like over flattered or like something like that, I just like freeze up a lot. I'm like, I don't know what to say. But then a lot of people always tell me, when you receive a lot of comments, the least you can always do and say is thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. But for me, I do the same thing too. I freeze up. People are like, how are you so cool, Evan? I'm like,
what?
Yeah, right? Like, how do you like process that? Yeah, but I just want to let you know, because like I'm just like, you know what? Like this is a moment right now. Like I want to let you know that information. So then I just wanted to put it into existence.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so talking about inspiration a second ago, I guess like a big influence for you was Jacob Collier, but I guess like number 4 would be, who is your biggest inspiration?
Yeah.
Anybody?
It's hard to pinpoint one person, but I think Jacob Collier is one of them.
Yeah.
My grandfather would be another one.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing that, and I could continue to list people, but the one thing that they all have in common is just this just insatiable like hunger for knowledge and for
Knowledge is power.
Just and just wanting to learn as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I find incredibly admirable in people, and I try to be that way as much as I can.
Yeah.
So to focus on Jacob Collier, for example,
Mm-hmm.
Nothing he does is done in order to seeking the approval of other people. He does everything he does for himself, and for the sake of learning more and just broadening his knowledge. So
that's the same thing too. Like my dad always says, like knowledge is power. Like if you know a lot of things, like people would just like they see that you care about a lot of things and you want to learn a lot about things, and people want to be like, hey, like, what is that person doing that I'm not doing. So I definitely think knowledge is definitely up there. Definitely, I guess, like, now I'm thinking about, like, is it knowledge or brawn? Like, what would you think?
Knowledge
or brawn, like being healthy and strong, or like something like that. Like, I always ask my friends that, like, do you think, like, is it brain power or is it more like physical power, like, like muscles and like stuff like that? What do you think?
Which one is more
like, I guess, like, where would you lean on the spectrum?
I think definitely toward the knowledge side of things.
That's what I was thinking too.
Because there's no limit to what you can do with knowledge. You can use it to get healthier.
That was the backbone answer to my argument too. Like, I feel like, how do you know, like, what is healthy to you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's one thing that sets human beings apart. It's what makes human beings special, is that we can acquire and continue to build knowledge and continue to advance.
Yeah.
There's a philosopher, David Deutsch. He's a really cool guy, to say the least. And
I thought you were gonna say David Dobrik.
David Dobrik.
Yeah. His brother.
I guess you could consider him a philosopher.
Yeah.
A philosopher of the social medias. But David Deutsch has this book called The Beginning of Infinity, and that title is referencing, like, the scope of human knowledge. There's no problem we can't solve, because if there's a problem we can't solve at any given moment, it's just because we don't have the necessary knowledge to solve it.
Yeah.
You can always find that knowledge, even if you don't have it in the moment. So, I think knowledge is my answer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, knowledge, because I think, like, if you know a lot of things, you can actually do a lot of things if you know a lot about the topic. But yeah, I would definitely agree, knowledge is power. Is there anything else you want to talk about, like, I guess, like, inspiration wise, like people, like role models to you, like just like big motivators in your life, like anyone else you have in mind?
I guess
or like anyone catching your eye recently that's like growing within your internet radar?
I mentioned Wolfpack before.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I just love about them is that they're entirely self-made. They manage themselves. It's all done by the band leader, Jack Stratton.
Mm-hmm.
He manages them. He produces the music. They built themselves from the ground up and gained enough popularity to play Madison Square Garden last year.
Yeah.
And they didn't, they did that all without the help of anyone really from the crazy music industry
side.
world.
Yeah, exactly. Saying, like, hey, you should probably check out this kind of group. Kind of like, I remember, like, like Rex Orange County, like, he was featured on Tyler's album, Flower Boy.
Yeah.
So then whenever he was on, I think he was on Boredom and he was on Intro, and a lot of people started gaining a lot of momentum for Rex Orange County, and like that's when he started like blowing up like ridiculously too.
Yeah.
But like in Spencer, like Wolfpack, what you were saying is that like them being like their own, I guess like they do have a label, right? Like they're associated with like a record label.
It's
like still self-made.
Wolf Records, yeah.
Oh, really?
Totally like.
Okay, so they're like independent, independent and still growing, which is like really cool.
Yeah, and I just respect that a lot about them, that they did it themselves.
Yeah, like literally, I remember like one friends always says that like when you're in your best state, that's when things will attract to you.
Yeah.
Like it could be people, it could be money, it can be opportunities, but the moment that you realize that you're genuine to yourself and you respect yourself and you're doing things for your own like pleasure, that's when things will attract to you. Like whether it's like, again, like money, whatever it is, like things will attract to you, and like you will just never see it coming. But that's why I'm like always like I'm always telling people, I'm like, I feel like you should always just do things that you really want to do. Like, you shouldn't always like build up like a sense of like, oh, it's a word like facade. Like, you shouldn't build like a facade about things, like, you know, like, oh, like, you know, I don't feel like comfortable about this topic, I don't feel about that. Like, you should really share like how you feel, in a sense of like right now, like the whole Black Lives Matter movement. Like, I feel like I definitely see a lot more people using their platform and using how they feel about the topic. I know, like, Ren, like, I always see them a lot on social media. Like, I remember, like, them in the beginning, like, they just didn't really say too much about things like that. But now, like, all of a sudden, now, I'm not saying, like, all of a sudden, but I'm saying now they're shifting their platform to, like, encourage people, like, hey, we should speak up about the topic more.
Who did you say?
Oh, Red and Link.
Oh, Red and Link, yeah.
Yeah. Red and Link. I feel like I definitely see them grow a lot. Like, a lot.
Yeah, I think maybe in the back of our minds we knew that in order to really make a change, everyone had to be involved, but it wasn't until recently that actually started happening.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And you know, while there's a ways to go,
Yeah.
but
I feel like
you know,
it's yeah. Keep going. Sorry.
I was gonna say all we could do is like keep learning.
Yeah.
Learn as much as you can, and
Use your voice.
yeah,
You're right. That's what I was like.
and be willing to have, you know, conversations that make you uncomfortable, because it's what has to be done.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, step out of that things that shouldn't be stigmas or stuff like that. Like, it should be discussed, like anything. Yeah. That was like heavy.
It was.
Yeah, that was really good though. That was good. Okay, so is there anything else you want to talk about for question 4? Motivation wise, anything else, or you would recommend to the viewers?
To the viewers.
Yeah.
One thing
Or listeners.
I think that your channel you started recently, Bucket List Buddies.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty inspirational to me.
Thanks.
You know, you're when I think of a bucket list, I think of like a crazy list of things that, you know, someone may or may not ever get to.
That is exactly, yeah. I think about that a lot.
You're like you're doing them.
Yeah.
You're going out there and you found a cave.
Yeah. The whole I guess like structure of like between Molly and I, we're always like, it's like we have like this like insane chemistry. We're always like we like feed off each other's like personalities, and then I had that idea for a while, and like I wanted to do that on this platform, but then I was like, I guess like I felt like uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm kind of doing it by myself, but I was like, I shouldn't care about it. But then I kind of scrapped the idea. But then she brought up the idea like about a month ago, and I was telling her, I was like, yo, I had the same exact idea, because I was like this is what we want to do, and like the sense of it is like you're building experience too, of like, hey, like let's just do it, like life's short, like let's just go for it. But I guess like the whole like behind the scenes aspect when we do it is that she shows up to my house, we talk a little bit, and then later we just grab the camera, we're just recording, and then we open up the book, we just flip to a random page, and whatever one of those 4 prompts are, we have to do it no matter what. Like, that's like essentially the law when we're doing that. And the new one's coming out, I think she wants it like this Friday. So she edited it for the first time for herself, which is like, I was like really impressed about it. Like, the only thing is like we just had to polish a couple things, but I'm definitely excited about it. Like, we want to see how that would happen, and if you're interested, and we're talking about like it too for all these like listeners and viewers, is that like what we were thinking is that eventually, if this platform becomes like really really good, we were thinking about like having like I guess like guest co-hosts. Like, say if like Molly's busy one day or I'm busy one day, you and I would take up the mantle for like the day, because we, you know, as she said it, we're all bucket list buddies.
It's true.
So I was like, we all want to do things. So I was like, I would actually like that aspect whenever it comes around. That's what we wanted to do.
That sounds cool.
So we're gonna try to like motivate people, like, hey, pick up your bucket list and like let's all be bucket list buddies. Yeah, that's what we were thinking about doing.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, we have like one more question.
One more question?
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So. Ooh. Okay. So this one is like on the realm of the future. So
like the
speaking of the future, what is something you are looking forward to?
That's an interesting one because there's so much we don't know about what's coming
Yeah.
with Corona and everything. But I'm looking forward to breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah. Jack's
I
birthday
like
tomorrow.
breakfast. Jack's birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah. Your shower later tonight. That's always good.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah. Or you take a bath. I don't know. I'm a bath person.
You're a bath person?
No.
Hey, nothing wrong with a bath.
Yeah, just sitting in your filth.
What's that from iCarly?
Yeah.
That's from iCarly.
That's a good show.
Maybe I'll watch that. Maybe that's something to look forward to. Watching
Yeah.
iCarly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to being a music teacher in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, I'm taking it one step at a time.
That's good, yeah. That's what my parents always said, too. Like, just focus on today, focus on tomorrow, and maybe next week. That's it. Just like, because, you know, nothing's really set in stone. Nothing next month is tangible yet. It's just kind of like we just go with the flow. Yeah. That's what I had to say.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else on your mind right now? Like, I guess, like, before we close shop?
Before we wrap it up. Jacob Collier yesterday, I was watching one of his live streams.
Yeah. I feel like you're like self-promoting, like, you know, like I feel like you're like a
He's
incognito.
Actually, he's
like,
paying me.
Oh, okay,
He's
okay.
paying me to talk about him. No, I just love him a lot. But
Yeah.
he said he was talking about how we have to be comfortable, you know, not moving in straight lines. We
Okay.
should move in wiggly lines.
Yeah.
And once you realize that it's okay to move in wiggly lines, you'll be happier. And I think what he's saying is, like, you know, a lot of people have one track minds or you know, become stuck in certain ways and rigid, a very straight line.
Yeah.
And straight lines are great sometimes, but in other cases you need a wiggly line
Yeah.
in order to wiggly lines.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah. I felt like, I guess like how I was feeling, I was like, I'm probably gonna add that to my quote book because I like that a lot. I felt like the wiggly line thing that you were saying is that, like, you know, like, I guess, like, it's okay to have, like, a system that you always do, like, a daily routine or something like that, but, like, if you ever want to just, like, expose yourself to, like, something new, or, like, you know, you're going through, like, challenges, obstacles, like, you know, like, just let you know, like, it's okay, like, you know, we're going through it and stuff like that. But, like, moving in wiggly lines, I was thinking it was, like, you know, like, you know what, like, if you really want to go to California tomorrow, do it. Like, why not? Like, you know, you shouldn't always feel, like, stuck on things like that. Like, you know.
Wear a mask.
Yeah, but wear a mask, essentially. Yeah.
And
But yeah, no,
sanitizer.
I know what you're trying to say. Like, just, it's okay to move in wiggly lines, because I guess, like, people always want everything to be, like, straight, perfect, structured to the way that they like it, adjusted to their own preferences. But it's okay to get, like, you know, like, sidetracked it, or, like, you know, like, maybe you fell off course or something like that. Like, it's okay. Like, you know, it's like it's life, essentially.
And who doesn't love wiggly lines?
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
They're more exciting anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Thank you.
yeah. You have 30 seconds to shout out whatever you like.
Really.
Anything, if you choose so.
Well, the first thing I'll shout out is an awesome TED Talk by this guy. His name is Baratunde Thurston, and he was a comedy writer for a couple shows, but he has an awesome talk about how we discuss race that just blew my mind. He really summed it up in an awesome way, so I'll shout that out.
Okay.
Check out that TED Talk. What else? check out Umu Sangare. That's OUMOU space SANGARE with an accent.
All right.
Talking about wiggly lines, that music is from West Africa, and like I mentioned earlier, it's the rhythms in that kind of music are wonky, and wonky is how we should be.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.